Back at it again, guys. Getting a little recording in the garage here today. As I was just telling Tyler, got a little bit of a different situation going on here. Hindu is working on his little last bit of homework for today. So on that quarantine life of being close contacts from schools. So as I was just telling Tyler, so like we literally have like meetings going on in like almost every room for like each of the kids, and the wife was using the room downstairs, which finally got cleaned back up again. Only took her having to go work down there for that to be cleaned back up again. So she was like, yeah, we're fixing this. I was like, okay,
all right.
So yeah, to the point of putting together a new chair in there and everything today that came in the mail, like the whole
nice.
So
is it like one of those comfortable chairs, the ergonomic ones and whatnot?
I don't know if it's like uber ergonomic or anything like that. I mean, it's a nicer chair than what we've got in there, but it's not like a break the bank type thing,
Dad,
get it all done.
Can I do three second sentence?
Yes, you can. You can put all 3 sentences on that same page.
Huh.
Okay. So yeah, so we got everybody in different rooms, and she's taking that one back over, and since we helped cleaned it up. It's almost all the way done, finished being cleaned up, but it's definitely much better than it was last time we recorded. So we're in the compound in the garage today, which is never a bad place to be. So only thing is we don't have the
yeah, I'm at my quasi school work desk, which is just a dining room table.
Yeah, no, oh, well, trust me, our dining room table has been that way as well. I mean, I was going to say there's no shower curtain in the background today, so
it's over here. Yeah, I kind of I moved it because it's right where I was sitting was right above a vent, and it's right there by the window, and it would get so cold. Yeah. It's still pretty cold in here.
But it looks like you brought a different chair. It looks like a desk chair versus a
No, it's one that we've had in the computer room for a while. It's just it's always sat over where the computer used to be. And, it never really gets used unless I'm like printing stuff out. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to move my desk to the other side of the table where now I have longer space so I can have things on each side. And I was like, with that, I can just pull this like computer chair over here too. And it makes it significantly more comfortable. Like, because I'm not sitting in one of those like stiff wooden hardback chairs. I've now kind of got like a little wheelie chair that can spin, but I've got like all my school books, like my publication manual over here, like all my counseling and stuff on like child neglect and child abuse and all that fun stuff all piled up beside me.
Yep, there you go. You got it all. Were you gonna say your dogs stay inside or are nice? Oh yeah, and I was repping the shirt, so the Christmas shirt here. And you were saying, I guess we can. Well, before we get all the way into wrestling time, I'm gonna say you were saying they're ranked number 3 right now.
Yeah, they're ranked number 3. It's I think it goes Iowa, Penn State, Michigan, NC State. I forget who was at number 5. I can't remember. It was like Ohio State or.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the top 5 was right now. I hadn't looked it up to see.
I can look it up real quick.
All right, cool. Well, while you're doing that, I'll mention I like to walk, W-A-L-K. So, so we're going to start off with a little bit of Alien Hour action. So you heard the rumbling today and everything?
Oh, yeah. I was in the middle of my lecture on in my research methods class, like lab type thing. And all of a sudden I'm sitting here typing out something in my little notes on the slide and whatnot. And then all of a sudden I just hear like the loud rumble. And I was like, is that like a bomb or something going on? Because I mean, I've heard fighter jets. Usually they're higher up. So it's like they've kind of got like a little bit more, it's not as deep of a rumble. And I've heard cargo ships. But I didn't see a cargo plane. I didn't see a cargo plane flying above. So I'm like, man, that had to be like an explosion or something. Yeah. And I was thinking a UFO crash maybe.
There it is. Yep. So yeah, I heard it and I was like, man, that's a jet. And I was like, okay, it'll be gone by the time I get outside. But then I was like, no, it's getting loud again. Like they're hanging out over here. What's going on? So ran outside and saw the one and he was flying, and then he like came back around and banked again and like did the full side like flip. I was like, dude, that is awesome. He is down low, but why is he
Yeah.
circling around over here? What is going on? And then by the time I went and got the phone, like I guess you saw my snap, like you could kind of just hear it, and it was rumbling off, but it was off in the distance still. And I was like, so I'm missing any photos of it. We got to see it. It was pretty cool.
So as of January 12th, if you look at Intermat, which I know that's the weird thing about our sport is there's so many different ranking systems, so it's hard to know which one's like legitimate, which one's like the one to follow. But if we're just using Intermat for right now, it actually has Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, Oklahoma State, North Carolina State, and then Iowa State at 6, Virginia Tech at 7, Nebraska at 8, Arizona State at 9, and at 10, Ohio State. So that's a little bit different from what I was seeing the other day.
Yeah. So
which Iowa's killing it. They've got 154.5 points.
Yeah, it's based
Michigan's
off of like all the numbers from last year and returners, and really it doesn't surprise me to the extent of like it just kind of picks up where it left off last year, since there was no NCAA tournament, so there's really not like a lot. You just kind of factor out the people who graduated. Like once you take those ones out, the rest kind of just fills in. So, so we'll, as we start to see more teams wrestle, each other, I guess we'll start to see how all this pans out. Because so far the wrestling's been mostly, whoever can get matches in right now, it seems like, and versus like smaller schools and things of that nature.
Yeah. Seeing if I can find the other rankings that I saw. But no, I mean, yeah, that seems to be the biggest issue is just getting these matches in. I mean, you got with the whole COVID protocol thing and close contact stuff, it can really ruin your spot in the rankings and your points. If you're basing everything off team points, like I said, if you look at Iowa's they're about 60 points ahead of the next person below them. And then like once you get outside that top 10, you're looking at going from like 90 to 70 to now you're looking at like 40.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a product of these protocols. And if you're in an area where you're going to have higher cases, you're not going to be able to get as many matches in and whatnot. So places like the Ohio States and all that, where, you're kind of more in a city area is a little bit different than like if you're in, I guess Des Moines, Iowa is a city, but I wouldn't consider it the same size as like a Ohio State, Columbus or whatever.
Yeah. Now, so what I was thinking about too was before we get into other stuff was I watched some of got to see my boy Scotty Boykin wrestle with Spartan RTC. That was the night before the original date of the Burroughs DT match. They wrestled like was it Friday, and then that
Friday
on Saturday night, which I thought was really cool that they not only had pretty much their RTC, since Cornell doesn't have a year this year because the Ivy League's not participating. I really thought it was really cool that they got some good matches in with some good guys. And there were several other, I guess, RTCs represented, or just other colleges are represented that just wanted to come up and get matches. One of them was PC down here. So, Blue Hose Presbyterian College, who's starting their program, got a little bit of love and were able to go up there and get some matches in. So we're seeing creative ways to get matches in, which is kind of cool.
It seems like I think it's given the times, you never know when your next match could be. So it's one of those things like if you're offered a match or you're offered a spot, which is just something I kind of want to lead into when we talk about the card from last night. Mm-hmm. And I'll just briefly mention, but like Jaden Cox wrestling or like McKenna wrestling, it's one of those things you don't know when your next match can be. And if you do know the date, you don't know if it actually is going to happen. So it seems like teams and individuals, they're wrestling whenever they can. It's like, okay, I can get in next Wednesday. Cool. Let me go ahead and sign me up. Let me go ahead and knock that out. And I think it's a great thing, but I think it also, it could, like you said, it's interesting to see some teams who may not get the clout or the shine that they usually get. It's interesting to see that, but it's also, it kind of makes things chaotic because now it's like, what happens if a match gets rescheduled, like a big match gets rescheduled, and you have, say, you have Chattanooga and App State or somebody wrestling on like a Thursday night, and then say like an Iowa State matchup had to get postponed, and the date that they pick is that Thursday night. Well, Flo's going to end up jumping on that one more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's I enjoy it, but at the same time, like I said, it's also something I can see being a little chaotic, and everyone's kind of like on a daily basis, like what's changing, like what matches are we having to move, what match are we gonna have to bump up to our premier spot now, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I like being able to see these guys get matches in and whatnot. I do. I also like some of these guys, like, and this is more, I guess, the senior level, the opportunities that they got. Like, they're getting double opportunities. So, kind of Jaden Fox, or Jaden Cox. I was thinking movies, but Jaden Cox and Seth Gross were two that I was thinking of. Joe McKenna, even like wrestling back-to-back matches, different things. Them being at the senior level stuff, I really think that not only are they taking advantage of, and when I say taking advantage, I mean it in a good way, taking advantage of getting to get that mat time in, like you said, not knowing when your next match is coming in. But man, it's also finally like, hey, they're able to take advantage of getting a paycheck too. Like, so for some of these guys, at first it started off like you get some of these cards or whatever, they might get to wrestle once every now and then. How often can they do these cards? How often can they continue to get paid? But now I think you're like, hey, Seth Gross and company, like, not only is he getting mat time in, but he's also getting to get some money too. And by being one of those guys that's willing to wrestle whenever, wherever. I mean, he wrestled at 61 kg the other night, and then he wrestled McKenna. He went up to 64, 65 kg.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize that's giving up, close to 10 pounds, in the wrestling world, like, at that elite level,
10 pounds means everything.
It does make a difference. I mean, you saw how McKenna picked him up like a guy that was a weight class below him, if not 2 weight classes below him, when he went through that match. But so I think it's a great opportunity to see these guys get matches in. Kind of like we said with Jaden Cox last night. I was like, man, Jaden Cox looks to me like he's taking whatever matches he can get just to get back into not back into wrestling shape, because he's in wrestling shape, but kind of get back to the form that he was in, that freak alien. But he's managing to, at not even 100%, still look scary, And he's got this. And have you noticed, like, I'm like, man, he's got that size on him now. Like, he's like, to go along with it. And he's still agile and moving, and like, not that he was small before, but like, it's just a scary combination of where he is headed as he continues to refine and get back into, I'll say, quote unquote, Jaden Cox wrestling shape, alien wrestling shape. How about that? Like,
yeah, he, I wonder, like, I know we've mentioned it. Sorry, I'm just looking up a couple of things on here too from like talking points. I know we mentioned it the other night. I don't think I knew the severity of his COVID.
I don't think anybody did until they kind of broke the news while talking about it, because it wasn't listed on anything. I follow him and on some of his social media accounts. I don't remember him saying locked up in the hospital for a day, got the oxygen at the house, like, until they said all that. And I was like, man. And the scary part about that is, like, his age bracket and his health factor is the group that people say, like, don't have to worry about this per se. Like, he is a healthy athlete. He doesn't probably have
world-class athlete.
World-class athlete in shape. Probably safe to say does not house a lot of the underlying conditions that are, that are associated with, the older generation of stuff. And he had it to the point where it sounded like they said he was in the hospital for a day and then had oxygen at the house. He was able to get out. That's not cool, and that's from the age group that's supposedly not untouchable, but like that age group on down is the group that they're not
That's
as
supposed to just be mild.
mild and not concerning. But those did not sound like concerning or non-concerning symptoms to me.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I mean, and that's what. And when they mentioned that, I wondered because both matches he's had in the past few days, I think the initial talking point that a lot of people were bringing up, and me included, is his look in the first period is very. It almost looks like sluggish, and he's not able to, he's not being as dominant in that first period as you think he would be. Usually it's that second he starts, and I wonder if that's an issue of something that happened in the COVID. Like, is it his?
are his lungs still back yet or not?
Or is it taking him longer to get that blood kind of flowing and get warmed up, or is he able to have that same explosiveness?
I'd have to go back and look at the first match. But
it was the same thing. I think he was actually down.
No,
he was down 1-0.
Yeah, no, I mean, I noticed that part, but I'm wanting to notice if normally with Jaden Cox, like they have to towel him off 2-3 times before he starts the second period because he's already like sweaty, and once he gets going, he's sweaty. He didn't seem to look like he got sweaty until like a minute into the second period. So
the first one they made him wipe off. They I remember because they said Vader joked about it, said there's the what do you call it,
the second towel off, or the towel, or that's not uncommon.
Yeah, he said something like there's the obligatory wipe down of Jaden Cox or something like that.
They was talking about sweaty, but it seemed to me like he didn't get that sweaty until, all right, it's gonna sound really weird to say, but like he didn't look like he was glistening and glowing. Like normally he comes out and you just can tell like he's just sweaty and all get out. And like they've had those other matches where they've Final X, when you see like the sweat flying off of them, like type thing, like they hit the slow mo with the club and it's like you're like, dude, that's awesome. Like look at the power, and like there's literally sweat flying everywhere. And he didn't look like that until a little bit into the second period, which is I thought was uncharacteristic. Let's put it that way of him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it looked like towards the end of the matches is when he started, getting really active and moving and firing off shots. And he looked good when he was doing that. But it seems like these first few minutes, and that could also just be, mat rust, I guess you can say. He's been off the mat for, 10 months?
Yeah. There's some.
I mean, he may just be trying to figure some things out, maybe trying something new. You never know. I mean, maybe he's trying to adjust his offense because – he's going to be facing Kyle Snyder. So maybe he's wanting to be like, I need to slow the pace down. I need to try to control things a little better. And maybe that's what he's working on. I didn't even think about that until just now. But, and that's, I mean, so there was definitely that. And the fact that I like how he broke the news that he was going to be wrestling last night, after his first match. He was like, so I got Nate Jackson Wednesday. And the commentators are like, wait, hold up. You're going to be wrestling Wednesday? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of one of those things that, like, we didn't know about it, but awesome. At least
and we're hosting the event. So,
I guess when Jaden Cox demands a match, you don't really say no.
Yeah. He's going to show up. Who's going to stop him?
Exactly. Not me.
Who's getting
Definitely not me.
I'm getting on that mat. But I guess more on last night, too. Do you want to kind of go from beginning to end? We've already talked about Jaden Cox's match, and he was the, co-main for last night, for which was a mini card because they threw some extra on there from, not having the main event. But
so I missed the first match, and from what I understood, it was a bunch of 8th graders.
Yeah,
not a bunch, but just 2 little 8th graders. I heard they looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, they were scrapping and they were getting after it. Devin was excited to see that, so I thought that was cool. On the point of Devin's in 6th grade, but going to be in 7th grade. And he was like, "Dude, they're in 8th grade and they're on flow. How'd they get on?" So yeah. I thought it was a good move on their part to have that age group on there because, like I just said, there was that added interest of the younger generation of like, what? Who? That really? It's not just the senior level guys, or it's not just NCAAs. It's not just high school guys only when it's the who's number one,
Yeah.
Like, so I thought that was a good move, and it was a good match, and they were getting after it. So I thought that really well.
Then you had the two girls wrestle. That was a pretty scrappy match. I like that.
I've got to say, for the most part, when they have the girls on the cards, they almost outshine some of the guys that are like listed above them, which I guess if you go from like a UFC type thing, like, closer to the main event, the better the matchup is supposed to be per se. But man, when we get the girls on those cards, they pretty much kill it on those things. Yeah. And I mean, they got out after it. The score was not necessarily super one-sided, but it was
but there was plenty of shots taken. I mean,
I know, that's what I was going to say.
From the whistle, I mean,
the score didn't really represent the amount of action that they put into that match. And I mean, I like.
You also have to understand too. I mean, this is not at all an insensitive statement. Women tend to be more flexible than men. So when you're able to get them in these like scrambling situations,
it gets hard for them.
Yeah, like I was watching some of their defense. I'm like, oh my god! Like if I did that, my hamstring would separate from whatever connects it. Like, and they were able to get in some kind of crazy looking situations there. And then the other thing I was going to ask is actually about the match that happened after that. The cat, what's his name?
Chittum.
Yeah, Chittum. Cody Chittum, I think. Yeah, Cody Chittum. Yeah. He had a beautiful throw, by the way. I was going to ask you, did you think that would have been 5, or were you good with the 4?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've got to look back actually on the rule set, and I think you can still get 5 in Greco. Okay, you get a lift in the throw. I haven't seen a 5 in freestyle, so I don't know if a 5 in freestyle is even possible anymore. But if it is possible, that was as good of a throw as you're going to see.
Absolutely.
And that is, if there is an epitome of a 5, then that's 5.
See, and I was going to ask you about that because, same with me. I haven't really gone and looked at the rule set of freestyle, in as much detail, just because,
I don't know if they have a 5 in freestyle anymore. I know they have to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was wondering, like, is it something that was gotten rid of, or is it just something that you just don't see any?
You want to talk about as picture perfect of a throw as there is, that was it right there.
Oh, I mean, it was beautiful. The arch, the hips, the feet, that
was the best moment of the night. I'll go ahead and say it.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, let me see. Yeah. Here we go. I got the picture of it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
See if I can right there.
Yeah. No.
I mean, that is just it was a work of art.
I mean, that was the best moment of the night. And that's what I was going to say was it's also interesting to me that as quick as this card was put together, and people may disagree because the Jordan Burroughs DT match ended 4-4, but I really think the 3 undercard matches outshone the 2 outshone the 3 senior level matches. Because you had the 2 8th graders, the 2 8th graders went back and forth and they wrestled a good solid match. And for 8th graders, I think that was as good of a match you're going to see. The women went after it, they killed it, and then his dominant performance and the way that throw alone, kind of separated them from, and this isn't to talk poorly about any of the senior level guys, because they're at a level way above and beyond, my meager self right now. But the way the match
right now,
get
a week of running in.
I'm about to get some training in here in a second. So, so by tomorrow, I'll be at that level. But, but I thought, the Seth Gross match was fine. I have no problem with Seth Gross match. I mean, Joey McKenna ran through and got a quick 10, but
that. See, that actually surprised me. I was not expecting that fast.
So, I thought that was a good match. There's nothing different that can be done with that match. And then Jane Cox was kind of slow on his match. Mm-hmm. And then the Burroughs DT match, it was 2 push-outs and a takedown and then 4 push-outs as far as the score goes. Yeah, it was those 2, but it was just a lot of hand.
Well, the thing is that's one.
I'm just saying in comparison to those first 3
Yeah.
non-senior level matches. I was like, man, the non-senior level matches, I'm just gonna say it, outperformed the senior level matches. And one of those matches was DT Burrows.
What's odd about that is like if I were to get someone who's never watched wrestling before and try to pull them in and like make them become a fan, I would show them the first 3 matches and not the last 3.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. I mean, and I guess you could make the argument that McKenna and Gross was, I mean, just because what McKenna did, but at the same time, I don't think it was one of those things that like had anyone on the edge of their seat. It was a one-sided beating. Then the Jaden Cox match was slow, and then especially the main event. I mean, I was excited for it, and at the very end, I got on my seat. But the issue
I was on edge, and I was wondering, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And it had that hold your breath. JB is about to come back type of. Ooh, is he about to do it again? And is it going to be a heartbreaker? Is it for DT? Like you had all those emotions, but part of us is like we've had those emotions built up because we've been a vested interest since the first time those two wrestled. You know, like so. And you and I personally followed that saga, so we get it on that point.
What bummed me out the most about it was that the fact that even though DT won, he didn't, and this is a lot of people may disagree, he didn't do a single thing to show that he was better. He got the push-outs, and then he got the takedown, but the takedown actually, if I'm not mistaken, the takedown came off, I think, a shot by JB or a misstep by JB.
Snapped or started to take a step, and his right leg slipped. And when he went down, it looks like he pulled something, is what it kind of looked like, or he went down, where everybody thought they kind of hit heads at first, was what they thought, because the way JB kind of went down.
Yeah.
They're like, did he hit heads? And then he just circled behind him. No fault of his for getting the takedown there. I mean, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He's the takedown, but he didn't do it offensively. I mean, I'm not faulting for how he scored it, but if say he hadn't slipped, say JB had been in some terror grapplers instead of the Asics, with some grip there and not slipped out, you like that. You know, and his foot hadn't slipped back there, I don't see DT running around behind him. You know,
no, absolutely not. And that's what got me is just like, and I'm not knocking DT.
No, it was a good win.
Mean,
it was a solid win. There's nothing to be taken away from his win, but I'm just saying that on solid footing, he wasn't going to run around JB that easy.
No. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like I said, again, not taking anything from DT. It just looks like the entire match, he was just trying. He wasn't really wrestling as much as he was trying to prevent JB from wrestling.
That makes sense. Shots and stuff.
I mean,
really didn't see as many. I mean, I guess maybe he did take some sweep single attempts, or was that just really JB taking all the sweep single attempts?
That was actually, there was one little instance at the beginning, and that DT ended up getting onto a leg. I can't remember who was the one who initiated, but JB had that really crafty defense where he just put his leg on top.
I've never seen that. Like he put the Chin Whizzer in and then trapped the leg with his other ankle so he couldn't step over.
And I was watching that. I was like, he's putting himself in terrible position. All DT has to do is step over, and then they turn the camera, and I saw his leg. I'm like,
looking at it with his other one. You know, like if Mike Mao doesn't do it, you and I will do it. Like I want to do the breakdown on that one there. Like that was
and it's weird. It's something so, like, we were joking about this the other day, you know, creating our own move. Like that was something so simple, but like so effective. I mean, because you could tell, like DT, he would try to lift his leg up. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You're having to.
So, but yeah, I 100% agree with that. So it was really interesting in that sense. I really thought that he would have fired off more shots in this match.
Which one, DT or Burrows?
DT.
I was saying, because Burrows was looking for him all night. He was hitting the feints all night, and then at the very end,
the Valencia match too, and Valencia was like firing off shots and getting after it. But to me, it looked like more of a man. Like, and I appreciated this of the match though. Like, you know, some people may not have understood this one. I appreciate the hand fighting battle that went on for.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that in and of itself could be for you and I price of admission, but like I don't see but for like the casual fan, would they have found that as exciting as we did? Like, I thought that was
Yeah, and again, that's why I said I think those first three matches would be the ones that I showed to people. I think it was a great balance overall, though. I mean, because you had that action-packed, first three matches, and oddly enough, I think that was probably for the best, because if you would have had all six matches be action-packed and neck and neck toward the end, what ends up happening is as a spectator, it almost kind of tires you out because you're so wound up, like trying to see what's going to happen. And then two, because it was only six matches, after that sixth match, you'd be like, no, I want more, which I guess is a good thing. But
it was,
at the same time,
also we got to remember it was a thrown together card, like 4 days later.
But man, they did a good job.
Later, so yeah,
they did a good job. I'll give them that. And props to Seth Gross and McKenna. McKenna, like I said, I figured McKenna would probably win. That didn't shock me, but what shocked me is just like the dominance. I mean, it was from the start, it was all Joey McKenna.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of thought that Seth Gross had I never count Seth Gross out of any match. Even giving up weight, like he finds a way to keep it interesting, to keep it going. I think he does a good job. And like, I don't think you can count him out. So it's kind of like he seems to find good guys to wrestle that are all like above his weight. Now, granted, you're not going to find very many people smaller than him, so it's kind of hard to go the other way. But like I love the fact that he's willing to take a match any and everywhere, and he continues to stay exciting and keep scrapping and get after everything. So,
I mean, there was a noticeable size difference between the two. So.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was going to be that noticeable when they said, "Oh, he went up," but then
you look at him, and you're like.
Then when they started, and then after when he picked him up, and I was like, "Ooh, he picked him up with some ease there." Just a little bit of ease.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Seth Gross's legs looked. And this is going to sound bad, but his legs almost looked like toothpicks compared to McKenna's.
McKenna's always been a pretty big guy for his weight classes anyway.
He's stout.
Yeah, I mean,
but it was one of
the cadet world. So yeah,
But like you said, when he picked up Seth Gross and was like walking with him, I'm like, that's nothing for him.
I was like, at that point, I was like, I hope they go down easy, because I don't want to see anybody get hurt here. Like, it's too good. Like if it had been McKenna with anybody up from anybody else in the world, I've been like, man, do a flying backflip and get some floor and make it fun. Like something crazy. Yeah. At this point, I was like, oh no, don't hurt them. Like, it's kind of like, I want both these guys to still wrestle possibly next week, like.
Yes, and if they did, I would tune in again.
Oh, for sure. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's if you had to create a card next week, who would you have on it?
JB DT round 2, because I already wanted the best 2 out of 3 anyway. Speaking of which I got to find some coverage on it or wherever it is. Helen Maroulis, Kyle Snyder, and others are in France right now at a tournament. So I was going to say Kyle Snyder, because I haven't seen Kyle Snyder wrestle in a while. We've seen Jane Cox, but I hadn't seen Kyle Snyder. He was going to be on my card, but if he's wrestling, I don't know. Pretending that they're not out there wrestling, I want to see right now. Thinking like senior level guys, just because like the college season is starting for others. I want to see Kyle Snyder back on the mat, because I hadn't seen him in a while. I guess Dayton Fix is back with Oklahoma State for the season, so I was gonna say I hadn't seen him wrestle, but I also haven't seen Thomas Gilman, so I'd like to see a Thomas Gilman match. I'd like to see Kyle Snyder, not necessarily against each other, because those are not the same weight classes.
You got me looking for that stream now, because the France.
Yeah. So, and then, who else? There's somebody else I haven't seen in a little bit. I want to see J.O. wrestle again. I know he didn't do great in the at that 8-man bracket, which I thought he would be in the finals against Bajrang, but J.O., Kyle Snyder, and Thomas Gilman, I say put those 3 guys out there against almost anybody, and if you're asking for who you want to see next week, those are my top 3 currently.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's I don't think there's much to argue there.
And I want to see Sarah Heidelbrandt and Helen Maroulis, but I think both of them are wrestling this weekend. I know Helen is. I think Sarah might be there too. So, so part of my who I want to see wrestle might, if I can find some streams, might actually be going on.
Well, this is good because if you can find a stream, let me know, because I'm taking French this year, and I could count that as a cultural event because it's France.
There you go.
So it's a one for me, one for the class, type thing.
There you go.
I mean, I'll just listen to it in French and be like, yeah, no, this was my quote unquote cultural event.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you can translate it too, because you'll understand the score. You'll be like, they said 2 takedown, reverse, ankle lace is what they said. That's what that means.
That would actually be really good, because then it's like I'm not hearing stuff that I'm not familiar with. I'd be like, oh, they said this word and he did that, therefore I bet that's what that means.
That means ankle lace. That means gut wrench.
There we go. I'll be
I now know what passive
end of the
means
week
too. So
Yeah.
That means shot clock. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm actually going to email my professor about that tonight. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
can find a stream, can I count this as a cultural event?
There you go. Well, get on that one. I think today was just a quick episode. That was good to talk about that last night. And, I will let you know. Hopefully I find out. I was hoping today, but hopefully tomorrow, find out about our test results from close contact, and that way we can know more about next week and what we got going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you told me that, I was like, oh, of course this is going to happen. I mean, I just came back 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, and of course now it looks like we're going to have to be kind of putting things on a halt for at least a week.
Yeah. But hopefully
luckily
last week, and hopefully we're back at it next week. So, but
yeah, I was gonna
say,
as much as it sucks, I was gonna say, luckily it was something that happened, kind of in the past. So it was one thing that we were able to go ahead and count that as part of it. So that's a good thing.
So
yeah, we and just let me know. Like I said, just let me know how the schedule is going to end up looking, all that good stuff.
And we will search and see if we can't find any streams for the tournament.
Yeah, what's the tournament name?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. It was on Helen Maroulis's page, and then I gotta check my emails. Somebody said good luck to these guys at this tournament, so that'd be my first thing. I go find my emails and see what it says, and then we'll go at it from there.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Take it easy, and I'll hodge for the next time.
All right.
See you.
Bye bye.